Hi, this is Dave and welcome to the Table, a series of videos where I review and discuss various types of board games, looking at them from a family perspective and seeing how they work at our table. The reason that I look at them from a family perspective is because that's how I do most of my gaming with my wife and my kids. I do also play games with friends at the local gaming store, but specifically I want to look at them from a family perspective to see how these games can be integrated into the social life of different families. It gets everybody together and keeps the kids off of the video games. Allows for you to use your brain to think, process different types of information, as well as providing a social atmosphere to be able to interact with one another. Today's game we're going to be reviewing is a game called Dig Down Dwarf from Gnome Games. If you enjoy rolling dice, this is something that you might want to check out for yourself. It's a 2 to 4 player game and plays in about 20 minutes. The object of the game? You're a dwarf, and you are trying to harvest as many gems from the mine as you can. The way that you harvest the gems is by matching the dice requirements with the type of gem that you find. But look out for the coal, because that can take away from your points. We're going to take a look at the components and a couple rounds of gameplay, and then I'll be back with my final thoughts and share with you what I think of Dig Down Dwarf. Let's take a look at the contents that come with Dig Down Dwarf. Inside the box, there will be 4 reference cards that look like this. They are double-sided, and they will have the name, the description, and the quantity of each of the 4 gems that come in the game, which starting from the highest value, diamond, working its way down to peridot, citrine, amethyst, and then finally also there's a description for the coal. There are also 2 double-sided cards that come with the game that explain how to play. And I will explain the rules as we go along in the video. Finally, inside the box, there will be a pouch that contains the contents that we need to play the game. Let me open this up and show you what comes inside. Lots of little pieces. I'm going to set this pouch off to the side so I can show you what we have. First, there are going to be 16 dice in 4 different colors. This game plays 2 to 4 players, and each player will have 4 of their own colored dice. So we have some blue dice, we have some green dice, we have some black dice, and we have some red dice. So each of the 4 players. Next, there's 37 gems that come in the game. And there is a whole assortment of them right here. There are 10 pieces of coal, which I'm going to put here. A little pile. There are 14 amethyst that come with the game. There are 8 citrine, which are these orange ones. There are 4 peridot, and there is 1 diamond. Each of these gems have different abilities after they're scored, and they also have different point values. I will start at the top and work my way down. The diamond, there's only 1 of them. It is scored if over the course of 3 rolls you can score 4 of a kind, and it is worth 12 victory points. The peridot, which are these green gems, are worth 7 victory points. And they're scored if after the course of 3 rolls you have 2 pair. The citrine are worth 4 victory points, and they are scored if you have a straight. The amethyst, they are worth 2 victory points, and they are scored if you roll 3 of a kind. And finally the coal, which is worth -1 victory point, and they're scored if you get 1 pair. 2 of the gems have additional abilities once you have them in your possession. Once you score them, they can be discarded to do additional abilities. First, with the amethyst, you can spend 1 to set the die of any dice before, or set the side of any die before you do any rolling. And which could be useful in trying to score some of the higher value gems. And I will get to this as I show you gameplay. And also the citrine, you can spend one to re-roll any die. I'm going to put these in the pouch and show you how the game is played. In the beginning of the game, all the gems are placed inside the black pouch. Close it up. Give it a nice shake. The first player will remove 6 gems from the pouch. These are the first gems that will be able to be scored. Let's take a look at what we have. This is a good example of a starting hand because I have all of the gems out there. I have 1 coal, I have 1 amethyst, I have 1 citrine, 2 peridot, and the diamond. Let me show you how a turn goes. I'm going to move these other dice off to the side so I can show you what happens. The red player will be the first player. I will have 3 rolls to be able to score. The first roll, I have a 1, a 3, a 4, and a 6. Anytime that a player rolls a 1, it cannot be re-rolled. It is locked. The only way that a player can re-roll is to spend a citrine to be able to re-roll it. And there's also a 6. And any time that a 6 comes up, it can be re-rolled, even after the 3rd turn. But let's take a look at what I have at this hand. This is my first roll. I have a 3 and a 4. I'm halfway to and I have a 1. All I need to do is have a 2 to get a straight. I'm going to try and roll again. I rolled a 3. I roll again. And I rolled a 5. Unfortunately, this player does not score anything, and his turn is over. Second player will take the pouch, give it a shake, and add 2 gems to the table. There's another coal and another amethyst. This time, the blue player will go and will roll their dice. And look, right away I have a 1 and I have 3 of a kind. I could continue to roll, but I have this 1 that's locked in I can't do anything with. I'm going to take and score my points right now, and this player will take the 2 amethyst gems. Well, anytime that you score, you will take any gems that are out on the table and you score that. The third player will then take 2 gems and put them on the table. I have another amethyst and I have another piece of coal. And we'll look at the third player's roll. And I have a 1, a 3, a 5, and a 6. This 1 is locked. Now I have 3 1s right here. I have one more attempt to try and do something else. I have a 6 on my third roll. I can re-roll this. And I score a 2. And so I rolled 3 of a kind, and this player will have this 1 gem. As play comes around, we'll return to the second player's turn. I will throw some more gems out to make it look like the game is advanced. I have some more amethyst. I have a citrine. So I have this large pile of gems right here. Player 2 is going to spend 2 of their gems to set their dice to any number that they want. I'm going to set them to 3. I still have my 3 rolls. Now I'm just rolling these dice to try and score something else. Uh-oh, I have a 1. And I have a 4. And finally a 3. I have a 3 of a kind, and I will pull all of these gems back. The 2 that I spent are discarded from the game. Play is going to continue until the last player pulls until the player pulls the last gem out of the bag. That will signal the end of game round. Play will continue. Each player will have one more chance to try and score any gems until the play returns to the player who pulled the last gem. Then we score up all the gems and add or subtract any victory points from the coal or any of the other ones, and whoever has the highest amount of points wins the game. Alright, Dig Down Dwarf. Love this game. It's a lot of fun. We play it in our house all the time. It's fast, it's easy, and it's fun. And anybody can play it. Even though the game says that it's ages 12 and up, I believe that children as young as 8 can comprehend how to play this game. They may quite not understand the aspect of discarding gems to set a die or to re-roll a die, but after a few rounds they would be able to understand and grasp that concept. I do caution against having this game around small children because with the small pieces, with the gemstones, they could end up in their mouths and could potentially have a choking hazard. So do heed the warning and keep this game away from small children. This game has some awesome elements to it that I want to talk about. There is the press your luck aspect of rolling the dice. Completely random on that, but it does keep some anticipation there. I like the rule set where if you roll a 1, you're locked in. That kind of changes things up a bit, because all of a sudden now you have a decision, okay, where am I going to go with this? And it may put you in a position to have to discard a citrine later on to be able to re-roll one of those dice if things aren't looking too good. And the aspect of having the 6 is to be able to re-roll at any time. I like that on the third turn, that you actually have an ability to try and make almost like a little saving throw to kind of grab something else. So I do like that those elements are in the rules. I'd like to talk about the component quality. I really like this game. I like the fact that you have a black pouch to pull all the gems from, but it also makes a great way to store the game. You pull it out, you can take it with you anywhere. The reference cards, they don't take up much space. If you don't want to carry around the box, you could just slide the cards behind them, or after a while, if you're playing with an experienced group of gamers, you won't even need those. You can just bring out the pouch itself. So that's a great aspect of it. And the fact that there's the randomness with the gems keeps this game going with some replayability all the time. It's not always a set pattern of how things are going. Gameplay, I've played this game 2, 3, and 4 players. 2-player game, it's okay. It's just a race back and forth to see who's going to get the gems first. I like the game 3 to 4 players. 4 players, in my opinion, makes it the most fun. There's plenty of interaction. The game does end a little bit sooner because the gems are kind of coming out a little faster, but I like the game playing with 4 players. Plus, I like to see all the different colors dice being rolled, and I also like to have 4 personalities at the table. So I really do like that. Some of the gaming elements, if we want to look at it from a gaming perspective, we do have the press your luck aspect with rolling the dice, especially after a couple of turns and having the risk of having a die locked in with a 1. So there is some risk taking. There is the press your luck that way. Also the element of resource management kind of comes in with a little bit of the risk. Are you going to hoard your gems, or are you going to spend the amethyst or the citrine and potentially get something larger? One strategy to note that with the amethyst, if you're looking at, there are 2 victory points apiece. If you have a number of them, you could discard all 4 of them and set the 4 dice to make a 4 of a kind to grab a diamond, which is worth 12 victory points. So you could give up 8 to score 12. So that is a strategy that's right there. So that's one thing that you have to that maybe you can work to your advantage. But overall, it is resource management, how you're going to manage your gems, how you're going to manage your dice rolls too. I love this game. I really think there's a lot to it, even though it's simple in its construction and simple in its rule set. I think it's enjoyable for all ages. I would like to really recommend this game. I think that if you're going to add it to your gaming night or any kind of gaming library, this is a great one that you can use to maybe kick off a gaming evening, wrap it up. You can use it as a filler, or if you're just looking for a quick fix to play a few games, bring this one out. It's great. There's enough that you don't have to have a whole lot of thought, that there's still plenty of room for social interaction with the game. It's portable. You can take it with you. One of these trends now with these micro games is that people are taking them out to different bars and restaurants. You could take this game with you, play it with your friends. You could play it at like Starbucks or something, and people are going to take notice to what's going on. So I think this game is a lot of fun. I want to recommend it. I give it definitely a thumbs up. If you're interested in getting a copy of this game from Gnome, sorry. If you're interested in getting a copy of Dig Down Dwarf, visit graynome.com, or you can look for it on thegamecrafter.com. Just look in Dig Down Dwarf. All right, that's it for now. This is Dave, and we'll see you next time. We'll look at another game and see if it can make it to the table.